Hello everyone and welcome to another Diablo 3 farming tutorial. This time it's about the Hellfire Ring. I am specifically dealing with the Reaper of Souls version. If you have the base Diablo 3 game without the expansion, there's also a Hellfire Ring. And the method of crafting it is pretty much the same. So as far as I'm aware, I will be able to get into that as well, but specifically I'm dealing with the Reaper of Souls version. So one of the things you need to do is buy the recipe. And the recipe is bought from Squirt the Peddler in Act 2. I'm in adventure mode. I believe if you want to go into campaign mode to buy it, you have to be right at the end of the act. But I'm not certain on that. It definitely works on adventure mode. And she sells the design Hellfire Ring. That's the old pre-Reaper of Souls version. And for 5 million gold she sells the new one, Plan Hellfire Ring. So that's what you want to buy. Costs 5 million, which is not that difficult to get, all in all. And then you just run over to your jeweler and teach him the design. That gives you the Hellfire Ring here. The ones which have a certain attribute are the old ones, because that was before the smart drop system, so you had to use the correct recipe to gain the correct attributes. Now in Reaper of Souls we have smart drops, so the ring basically decides by itself which attributes it's going to give you. For example, I'm on a demon hunter, so if I were to craft this thing, I would get dexterity and vitality as primary stats. I wouldn't be guaranteed to get them, but those would be the ones. I would not get a ring with strength, for example. So you always want to craft these on the character that you want them for, because a barbarian is going to get a strength one, and so forth. But yeah. To craft it, you require Leoric's Regret, Vial of Putridness, Idol of Terror, and Heart of Evil. And getting these is a bit of an effort, so I will cut now and show you how to obtain these items. The next thing you need to do is farm certain crafting materials. Those are keys. I only have 2 of them at the moment, Key of War and Key of Bones. But I will show you where to farm all of them. There's 4 different keys in total. For the first one, you want to go into Act 1. And make sure you're at least in Torment 1. Because the keys only drop in Torment 1 and onwards. And you want to go to the Fields of Misery. The mob you're farming has a guaranteed spawn, so he will always be there, but he could be anywhere in the area. So you might get very lucky and find him quickly, or you might have to search for a while. He, at least from my experience, he doesn't have certain spawn locations. He could just be anywhere. So there's not really any quick way to look for him. And keep in mind, crafting a Hellfire Ring is a long-term project. It's not something that you're going to realistically finish in a matter of one afternoon. Unless you're playing very intensely, or you're very lucky. Or you already have incredibly good equipment, so you can farm on high difficulties. The drop rate for pretty much all the crafting materials that I'm going to be talking about in this guide, it also scales with difficulty. It starts off at 25% in Torment 1, and in Torment 6 it's 50%, I believe. So in the old system, for the old Hellfire Ring, you had guaranteed drops in the highest difficulty at Monster Power 10. In Reaper of Souls you no longer do. In Reaper of Souls you could at best get a 50% chance. And from what I hear, Magic Find does not affect this drop rate, but I might be wrong on that. of course, you could just run around and not fight anything else. This is just sort of the way I usually do it. I'll see you when I found the Keywarden. I found him. I'm almost there. Just deal with these little fellas first. And there he is, Odeg or Odeg the Keywarden.
Not ready yet.
As I said, he will always spawn somewhere on the Fields of Misery. And when you kill him, he has a chance to drop the Key of Bones. And of course I did not get it this time. I'm playing on Torment 1, so the chance is 25%. As I said, it can go up to 50%. But now let's go for the next one. I'll see you in a moment. Found him! Ta-da! Sokahr the Keywarden. He drops the Key of Gluttony, and he will always spawn in the Dahlgur Oasis. He is a little more nasty than the Act 1 Keywarden, especially if you're fighting him at range, because he has this missile dampening sphere.
I'm injured.
And has a pulling attack, fairly nasty point blank AoE, but we actually got the drop. Key of Gluttony. So, as I said, he will always spawn somewhere in the Dahlgur Oasis. And I guess I'll see you at the next Keywarden. And here we are in the Stonefort in Act 3, where we can find Xah'Rith the Keywarden. Again, he will always spawn in Stonefort. I find him less annoying than the Act 2 Keywarden, because he doesn't have missile dampening. He usually does a bit more, but if you get lucky and the angle is right, he doesn't, as you can see, do very much. And he can drop the Key of War. Yeah. So, I'll see you at the next one. And here we are in the Silver Spire level 1 with Nekarat the Keywarden. He is the last one. And he drops the Key of Evil, as well as a plan for, okay, well, that fight can be a lot worse. He has some nasty pulling abilities and such. He also drops a plan. Let me just show you that quickly, because it's the next step anyway. I will need to farm him again for some keys so I can show you the last step, basically. And he will not see me craft a Hellfire Ring on screen, that would take too long. But basically from the Keywarden in Act 4 you get both the Key of Evil and the plan to craft, here we are, the Infernal Machines. Pre-Reaper of Souls, this was the thing you crafted, basically. A legendary portal device. And for that you needed Key of Destruction, Key of Hate and Key of Terror. These dropped from the Keywardens in Act 1, 2 and 3 respectively. So that's what you would do pre-update. After the update you need 4 keys. As you can see, I'm still missing the Key of Evil. And one of each is definitely not enough. You need at least 4 of each to craft the Hellfire Ring, and that's if you're incredibly lucky and playing at high difficulty. You will probably need closer to, say, 10 to 20 each to actually get one Hellfire Ring, so keep that in mind. But yeah, this is one recipe which adds all these 4 craftable items, and this also drops from the Keywarden in Act 4. Now I'm going to go farm for the Key of Evil a little more until I actually find one. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I'm back, and I have Key of Evil, Key of Gluttony, Key of Bones and Key of War. As I said, to actually get a Hellfire Ring you will need definitely more than one of these, but for demonstration's sake one of each is enough. Next thing you want to do is forge weapons, and I'm assuming you have the recipe now. If you don't, you're gonna have to farm for it. There's no way around that. And then you can decide which of these infernal machines you want to craft, basically. I'll actually run to the jeweler very quickly. in the crafting recipe for the Hellfire Ring, you will see you require these 4 crafting materials, and they correspond to the Infernal Machines. So you need 1 of each to craft a ring. And so the way I would suggest going about it is craft 1 Infernal Machine. It's under weapons. For example, craft the Infernal Machine of Bones. It doesn't matter which order you do it in, this is just the way I'd suggest it. Craft the Infernal Machine of Bones until you've gotten Leoric's Regret from the area which I'm about to show you. And then you just go on and craft Infernal Machines of Evil, and then Gluttony and then War, and then you'll have your 4 items. But I will actually craft a Infernal Machine of Bones. Costs 100k to craft, but money is not that difficult to come by at this point in the game. Now then you want to destroy the boarded up door behind Brother Malachi the Healer to enter the Heretic's Abode. It's just a very small area full of some grisly stuff. And here you can activate the Infernal Machine, which will open a portal, in this case to the Realm of Discord. Again, you want to be at least in Torment 1 difficulty to get, in this case, Leoric's Regret. It has the same drop chance as the keys, 25% at Torment 1, going up to 50% on Torment 6. And we're about to face the Skeleton King and Magda at the same time. So, little cutscene that I'm skipping. And there we have Magda and the Skeleton King. So be prepared, this is basically 2 boss battles in one, making it a little difficult. But the same general rules apply as when fighting them individually. Avoid stuff that looks dangerous and hit them with damage as often as you can. Now Magda has a sort of protective shield from time to time, which is why it is technically easier to, or well, the way I usually do it, I kill the Skeleton King first. But Magda is more dangerous because she does more nasty stuff. She does the arcane enchanted laser spinning things, she does her projectile attack which tracks the player. So the Skeleton King is less of a threat, but also quicker to kill because he does not have this shield. And whenever she activates her shield, she spawns some minions, which you need to kill. But yeah, all in all, not the most difficult of fights. And after you've killed them both, you get the loot. And I was not lucky. This fight could give you Leoric's Regret. And similarly in the other areas, I don't know off the top of my head which bosses you fight. Top of my head, not hat. I know the last one, the Infernal Machine of Fright, puts you in a boss fight against Diablo, who also summons random other major bosses. I think that one's probably the hardest, but yeah. I guess this is just to show you how to go about it. For obvious reasons, I'm not going to show you the entire thing, that would be boring, repetitive, and take way too long. Yeah, once you've killed them, you basically want to leave. The Infernal Machine that you crafted is now used up. It's gone. The portal is still there if I would enter the Heretic's Abode now, but it would just put me into the area I've just cleared, so no more bosses. If I want to fight the boss again, I have to craft this thing again, which means I have to farm all the keys again, which is why you definitely need more than one. You would expect four Infernal Machines at Torment 1. You would need about 4 machines to get each of the demonic organs. So that would be about 16 keys each for the Hellfire Ring. If you're playing on Torment 6, it would be 8. So I would farm maybe 20 just to be on the safe side. And that's for one Hellfire Ring. If you don't like the rolls, you're gonna have to start over. But yeah, I hope this helped you clear up what you need to do to get the ring, and I guess I'll see you soon. Bye bye.